In today's show, macro economist Raul Powell issues mass liquidation warning and says every market position you have is likely wrong, quoting the macro guru from a recent interview. So there is a massive liquidation going on as people struggle with their portfolios because basically whatever position you've got, it's wrong. And that's the pain everyone's going to have to take for a while. And as Plan B shares here, Bitcoin April closed at $37,639. And he also shares, a red Bitcoin $74,000 dot would bring the two lines together, or the S&P 3800. Interesting times ahead. And as crypto analyst Mikhail Bende-Pop shares here, Bitcoin dropped and made another low, sweeping two lows, immediate bounce back up, breaking through 38,200 to 38,300, could open the gates for a test at $40,400. And as on-chain analyst Willy Woo shares here, it is very hard to go wrong with a 4-year or longer investment horizon with Bitcoin, no matter what the macro environment. Facts. And as Charles Edwards from Caprioli Investment shares here, just look how many countries and cities made Bitcoin adoption a thing in April. We have the Central African Republic, which adopted Bitcoin as legal tender. We have Panama, Honduras, Portugal, Cuba, Buenos Aires, Brazil. We have Bahamas, Fort Worth, Central Bank of Portugal. We have Slovenia. We have the state of Tennessee. We have Virginia. We have Germany, as well as Australia listing the first Bitcoin ETF. And speaking of Panama, Panama gets a crypto bill and moves one step closer to becoming an official crypto nation. That's right. After El Salvador has moved to get Bitcoin a legal tender, the National Assembly of the Central American country, Panama, passed a bill on Thursday to enact regulations on the commercialization and use of cryptocurrency in the republic. And quoting Max Kaiser here, to truly advance the country towards monetary sovereignty, El Salvador must forsake altcoins and solely embrace Bitcoin. As Max Kaiser shares in this article he published entitled, El Salvador should embrace Bitcoin maximalism. Also in today's show, Bitcoin is legal tender. These countries are next after El Salvador and the Central African Republic, says Devere Group CEO. That's right, financial advisory firm Devere Group CEO Nigel Green expects that at least 2 more nations will adopt Bitcoin as legal tender before the end of the year. Quoting him here, in January, I predicted that at least another 3 nations would declare the world's largest cryptocurrency legal tender in 2022. One now has already done so. I expect Bitcoin will be adopted as legal tender in at least 1 more African and 1 Central or Latin American country before the end of the year. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, all the major cryptos are currently correcting and in the red. But where's the Bitcoin price likely to go next? Find out all this, plus so much more, in today's show. Here at Crypto News Alerts, I drop a brand new episode every single day. The goal is to get to 100,000 subs along with a $100,000 Bitcoin price. And if you like getting that crypto, be sure to smash that subscribe button. That's right. And turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, including weekends, just like this. Today's episode is brought to you by FTX US, built by traders for traders. That's right, FTX US is the best way to buy and sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, as well as other digital assets. And did you know you can trade crypto with up to 85% lower fees than its top competitors? That's right, there are no fixed minimum fees, no ACH transaction fees, and no withdrawal fees. Also note that FTX is the only leading exchange that supports both Ethereum and Solana NFTs, and there are no gas fees. And you might have heard of them from their Super Bowl commercial with Larry David, or their partnership with Stephen Curry and Tom Brady. That's because the world's biggest names trust FTX. And they have a special promo they're running right now, where if you download the FTX app today and use my promo code Crypto News, you can earn free crypto on every trade over $10, truly making this a no-brainer. And the more you trade, the more you earn. So go ahead and download the FTX app today by clicking the link in the description right down below. Use my referral code Crypto News, and let's start stacking those sats, shall we? All right, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV. How's it going, crypto fam? Make some noise in the live chat. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday thus far. Macroeconomic expert Raul Powell says global markets are locked in a mass liquidation phase, and he doesn't expect a turnaround in the short term. In a new interview on Real Vision, Powell says no matter what's in your portfolio, more pain is likely in store. For now, Powell cites the US dollar as the only asset that may remain strong. Interesting, right? Quoting him here, this is an ugly market. What I think is going on here is that there are two factors for the market to digest. One is inflation, and that has created the market to set up things in certain ways. Everyone's crowded into certain things, then growth starts evaporating. You can see it all over the place in stuff like consumer discretionary stocks. You can see it in forward-looking indicators. So the market has to deal with inflation plus slowing growth. So everything's getting liquidated. This is the correlation of one-star markets that I was warning about, and it hits everything from crypto to pretty much everything, and the thing that stands above all ends up being the dollar, because that is kind of a safe haven. We have seen some huge moves in the dollar, and I'm not sure it's entirely done yet. So there is a massive liquidation going on as people struggle with their portfolios, because basically whatever position you've got, it's wrong, and that's the pain everyone's going to have to take for a while. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the macro guru. Now, Powell predicts that both inflation and growth will move lower simultaneously in the months ahead. If his outlook comes to pass, Powell says growth in stocks, gold, and crypto may ultimately stand to benefit. As he shares here, if I am right and that inflation story is going to change and growth is going to go slower, then we start shifting into a dynamic where we question what the central banks are going to be doing, and if bond yields are going to come lower, stuff that's really been beaten up, like the further end of the growth stocks, they should be more interesting in that environment because they got killed by inflation. I think gold does pretty well. Interestingly enough, gold and growth stocks tend to do badly as real rates start tightening, but they got to zero, and it looks like the world is falling apart just as the central bank is trying to undertake quantitative tightening, or at least no quantitative easing. And if that is the case, then real rates are going to go negative again. If I am right, that is usually good for gold, crypto, long end growth, that kind of stuff, and bad for everything that people have been in, like commodity stocks. So there you have it. And to check out this entire interview entitled Inflation, Stagflation, and Recession, No Way Out with the macro guru himself, check the show notes below the video in the description. And checking out the latest from Plan B, he updated us on the April monthly close for the king of all crypto, closing at $37,639. And he also updated us here. A red Bitcoin, $74,000 dot would bring the two lines together, or S&P 3800. Interesting times ahead. And quoting crypto analyst Michael Pop, Bitcoin dropped and made another low, sweeping two lows, last one and the one from March. Immediate bounce back up, breaking through 38,200 to 38,300, could open the gates for a test at $40,400. And as shared here by on-chain analyst Willy Woo, it is very hard to go wrong with a 4-year or longer investment horizon with Bitcoin, no matter what the macro environment. That's right, all 4-year plus Bitcoin hodlers are in profit. Let's go. And as pointed out here by Charles Edwards, the CEO of Capriole Investments, just look at how many countries and cities made Bitcoin adoption a thing in April. Here's the breakdown. We have the Central African Republic adopting Bitcoin as legal tender, as well as Panama. I'm going to break down here shortly. We have Honduras and Portugal, both set to adopt Bitcoin in specific cities. We have Cuba approving cryptocurrency services, Buenos Aires, Brazil, to allow residents to make tax payments with their crypto, Bahamas to allow citizens to pay taxes with digital assets, Fort Worth, Texas becomes the first city in the U.S. to mine Bitcoin. Central Bank of Portugal grants country's first license to a bank. Slovenia unveils plan for fiat tax on crypto transactions. The state of Tennessee is looking for a contractor to hold crypto on its behalf. New Virginia law allows states chartered banks to custody crypto. And Germany's Commerce Bank applies for a local crypto license, and the first Bitcoin ETF gets listed in Australia. Mass adoption. Let's go. And before I break down next story of the day, Panama gets a crypto bill and moves one step closer to becoming an official crypto nation. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, all the major cryptos are currently correcting and in the red, with Bitcoin down 1.5% for the day, trading just under $38,000. We have Ether down 2.2%, trading just under $2,800, while Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche, Binance Coin, Luna, and XRP all correcting and in the red. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. After El Salvador's move to give Bitcoin a legal tender, the National Assembly of the Central American country Panama passed a bill on Thursday to enact regulations for the commercialization and use of cryptocurrency in the Republic. Let's freaking go. If the president of the National Assembly, Laurentino Cortizo, approves the bill, private and public companies would be allowed to use the digital assets alongside officials, making way for them to pay taxes in cryptocurrency. And at the same time, experts warned the legislative branch that adding digital assets could disrupt the country's reputation for lacking financial transparency. Quoting them here, the bill in question contains broader legislation than El Salvador's applied measures, which in June of 2021 gave Bitcoin a legal tender, said Gabriel Silva, the promoter of the bill and independent lawmaker. The legislation is broader in scope than measures passed by El Salvador, which made Bitcoin legal tender last year. We are seeking the emergence of many different types of crypto assets, like works of art. That's why we didn't want to limit ourselves only to cryptocurrencies. I want to give a quick shout out to iTrust Capital, the world's largest crypto IRA platform with over $3.5 billion in transactions. If you're looking to trade crypto tax-free, look no further than iTrust. And yes, they are backed by the world's leading institutional cold storage provider, Coinbase Custody, with a $320 million insurance policy. So go ahead and use my referral link in the description right down below to take advantage of the #1 crypto IRA provider in America. And if you sign up today, you're going to receive a $100 funding reward as a free bonus. So go ahead and use my referral link in the description right down below, and let's start stacking those sats tax-free. And as the proposed bill has a broader scope, it's covering trading, the use of cryptocurrencies alongside its addition to the payment system, and the issuance of digital securities. Besides, it also includes tokenization of the precious metals, which refers to converting a physical asset into a digital format. And in line with the new law, the people of Panama will use cryptocurrencies as a payment medium to conduct commercial or civil operations under the regulation rules applied in the state. Now for the inevitable FUD, experts warn Panama to not add crypto. Go figure. Panama currently stands as one of the tax haven countries on the list of the European Union, given that the chief executive officer of the investment advisory firm, K&B Family Office, Romain Dromard, criticized the bill in support of the cryptocurrency, saying crypto would not allow the state to keep financial transparency. As he shares here, Panama was already in a bad position, and these payment methods skip the due diligence process that international organizations are asking Panama to embrace. And before the bill moves forward to President Laurentino Cortizo for final signature, there's already 38 members of the Assembly which have already voted in favor of the bill, with 2 abstentions. Notably, no one voted against it. That's right. And in Panama, 1 person owns a bank account out of every 4 people, while internet penetration is high in the country. Given that crypto assets would help unbanked to increase their business, argued Belisario, the CEO of the tokenization firm Finir Corp. All I know is this: Bitcoin game theory in full effect. And before I break down next story of the day, El Salvador should embrace Bitcoin maximalism to truly advance the country towards monetary sovereignty. El Salvador must forsake altcoins and solely embrace Bitcoin, says Max Kaiser. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market cap, sitting just above $1.7 trillion with $90 billion in volume. In the past 24 hours, the current Bitcoin dominance is 42.3%, with the Ether dominance at 19.5%. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Tron leading the pack, up just 3% for the day, trading at 6.5 cents, followed by stablecoins, because virtually all the top cryptocurrencies are currently correcting and in the red. And as you can see here, in the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the week, virtually everything in the red, minus a handful such as GMT, up about 10%. We have Ape up 5.7% and Hex up 23.5%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we're currently rated a 22 out of 100 in extreme fear. Yesterday was a 20, last week a 24, and last month a 50, dead in the middle, which is neutral. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That could be a great buying opportunity, like we're witnessing right now. BTFD, buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. Right, now let's break down our next story of the day. This is an article written by none other than Max Kaiser. Bitcoin has been made legal tender in El Salvador, the first country in the world to do so, where confidence in Bitcoin is growing as Bitcoin-enabled positive changes continue to transform the economy. Now it's time for El Salvador to embrace Bitcoin maximalism as a guiding principle and reject all so-called crypto and altcoin projects. As Bitcoin continues to overtake fiat money, CBDCs, gold, and so-called altcoins to become the sole global monetary standard, Bitcoin maximalism has emerged as an essential guiding principle. While it's clear and irrefutable that nothing competes or compares with the king crypto, nothing will ever displace it as virtually perfect money. We had Pete Rizzo of Bitcoin Magazine in his piece dated September 2019 to 2021 entitled Against Cryptocurrency, the Ethical Argument for Bitcoin Maximalism, highlighting Bitcoin's core strengths, which include separating money from state, creating global money, transparent issuance, perpetual auditability, unconfiscatability, finite supply of monetary units, and additionally and crucially, Bitcoin is uniquely decentralized. That's right, no individual, group, corporation, or state controls Bitcoin. No other fiat money, CBDC, gold, or altcoin can make this claim. Everything that's not Bitcoin is either relatively or absolutely centralized when compared to Bitcoin, and therefore fails to achieve the critical breakthroughs that Bitcoin represents, a global monetary network that is independent from any centralized control. That, my friend, is a fact. Now, more precisely, fiat money and CBDCs are absolutely centralized, having no value whatsoever when the state control is removed. And with gold, it's relatively centralized, as vast stores of value of gold are centralized and price discovery is non-transparent and routinely manipulated. Let's not forget that they add to the gold supply every year as well, like 1 to 2%. Now, altcoins are relatively centralized as well, with centralization taking many forms. And as MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor pointed out in a Real Vision interview dated back September 24, 2021, altcoins are inherently immoral and unethical since their primary purpose, it can be argued, is to defraud the public. The choice is clear. Bitcoin maximalism is the right direction for El Salvador to continue growing its economy and set an example of integrity and excellence for the world. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Max Kaiser's $220,000 Bitcoin price prediction before the end of this year. And before I break down our final story of the day, Bitcoin is legal tender. These countries are next after El Salvador and the Central African Republic, says Devere Group CEO Nigel Green. But first, I want to remind you to smash that show more button right below this video in the description for a detailed analysis of what's going on in the crypto market. This goes for all 1,200 plus videos right here on my YouTube channel. Also, some very helpful resources for you to plug into, including my crypto merch store live at merch.cryptonewsalerts.net. Also, be sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And of course, you can find me on all the major podcasting platforms, from Spotify, home of the Joe Rogan Experience, to Apple's iTunes and Google Play. And if you're listening to the pod, be sure to check out the YouTube channel at cryptonewsalerts.net for the full premium experience with video. And of course, you can follow me on crypto Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, and TikTok. So wherever you're at, be sure to plug in and follow me there. But all right, now let's break down our final story of the day. Financial advisory firm Devere Group CEO Nigel Green expects that at least 2 more nations will adopt Bitcoin as legal tender before the end of this year. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Nigel Green. I think personally it's a given. In a new company blog post, Green follows up on his January prediction after news broke that the Central African Republic this week became the world's second country to formally recognize Bitcoin as a currency. Quoting Nigel Green here, in January, I predicted that at least another 3 nations would declare the world's largest cryptocurrency legal tender in 2022. One now already has done so. I expect Bitcoin will be adopted as legal tender in at least 1 more African or 1 Central or Latin American country before the end of the year. Green says that Tanzania is a likely candidate in Africa because in 2021, its central bank disclosed that it would be drafting a presidential directive that would address cryptocurrencies. And regarding nations in the Western Hemisphere, the CEO says in Latin and Central America, it could potentially be Paraguay or Mexico. Let's go. A Paraguayan bill moved to regulate the trading and mining of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and the country passed the Senate back in December, which is widely being regarded as the first step to making Bitcoin legal tender. Meanwhile, I'm confident that a Bitcoin bill will be introduced to Mexico's Congress this year because several politicians are going on record as saying they want their country to follow El Salvador's example. Mexico, let's freaking go. Now, El Salvador became the first nation to adopt a crypto asset as legal tender last year, and as to why he expects Bitcoin adoption in specific geographic regions, Green says adopting cryptocurrency currently is more attractive to those countries with a track record of financial instability. In nations where the current national currencies don't work as well as they should as a means of exchange, store value, and as a unit of account, Bitcoin is increasingly seen as the answer. The CEO concludes, first El Salvador, now the Central African Republic, and this is just the beginning. That's right. Let's freaking go. Which countries do you feel will likely be next to adopt Bitcoin as the legal tender? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now for a quick recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. Macro economist Raul Powell issues mass liquidation warning and says every market position you have is likely wrong. Also in today's show, I shared Panama gets a crypto bill, moving 1 step closer to becoming an official crypto nation, as well as Max Kaiser says El Salvador should embrace Bitcoin maximalism. And we also discussed Bitcoin as legal tender. These countries are next after El Salvador and Central African Republic, says Devere Group CEO Nigel Green. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below. Now for the top 3 comments from yesterday's episode. Digital Gravity wrote, excellent show as always, JV. My day is not complete unless I hear, let's start stacking those sats. Shall we? Damn straight fam, that's what's up. So let's start stacking those sats. Shall we? Our next featured comment comes from Jenny Jones, who wrote, "Hey JV, thanks for the shout out. Love the story about the $12 billion billionaire. So many getting wind of the crypto space and adopting Bitcoin, the king of crypto. Enjoy your weekend. Peace." You are very welcome, Jenny. Glad you enjoyed the show. Exciting times ahead, that's for sure. Hodl. Now for our third and final featured comment coming from Inner Dinosaur. "Thanks, JV. Excellent show. How cool is that dude, Ricardo Salinas? Viva Mexico. Viva El Salvador. With the price to heat my home next year, I'm going to turn up to one of these countries. Great to see you, fam. I appreciate your daily support, tuning into the show." Yeah, shout out to Ricardo Salinas. He is the man with the master plan. Bitcoin, let's turn up. It is time. Hodl. And to be featured on tomorrow's episode, drop me a comment right down below.